Happy to be invited and happy to talk about how to speed up open innovation in a family business, which I translated in a strong roots company because that is how we want to talk about Stihl. So just a couple of words to myself. I'm a true, let's say, Stihl person. I work for Stihl since 20 years, different functions in there and doing digitalization like since 2018. So we founded Stihl Digital for that, having bundled a lot of venture activities, but also IT strategies and so on. But I'm responsible for the corporate venture business. You can get in touch with me on LinkedIn, visit our website, visit our LinkedIn channel. So we're quite communicative in that way. Okay, I structured my presentation 3 sections. First, I want to talk about Stihl because that is very important to understand where we're coming from, what are the boundaries of our company. Then I want to talk about how we approached open innovation with venture partnering and venture capital. And also maybe interesting for a couple of folks of you to talk about what we have learned so far. I guess that's quite an interesting point for some of you. Cool, let's start with the strong roots, also the strong roots picture. And yeah, saying that Stihl was founded 1926, a couple of years ago, starting with this 2-operator machine to cut down trees. And it's still family owned, but it's run by a non-family executive board since 20 years now. And but Stihl is really from the culture a true family-owned business, so very passionate about innovation and how to make it easier for the people to work with our products. Yeah, I guess we are quite global. I want to point out the figure of 45,000 servicing dealers worldwide. So we have a huge offline network, which we're gonna, piece by piece make more digital. But this is a huge, let's say, asset we have for the whole group that we are have such a global reach with these 45,000 servicing dealers. Our customers are in forestry, garden, professional gardening, construction, and also the private gardens. You can say that about half is really professional users and half is private users who have, let's say, the ambition to have very high quality tools. We emphasize a lot quality a lot. So we do that by vertical integration. So we, for instance, we create or we build our own chains for the chainsaws in Switzerland in an own plant. So that's quite a deep vertical integration that we are very, let's say, strategically build up these capabilities to provide end-to-end highest quality for our customers. Yeah, and we innovate for the core. So a lot of, let's say, innovation on the combustion engine. I just named a few here, which I don't want to go into detail. But we, for sure, have a lot to do in the transition from the gasoline products to the battery products, which are going to, let's say, speed up even more in the recent years. But we still managed to do organic growth. So this is quite interesting for us. So we reached the 5 billion in turnover last year, and all done organic. So that is like quite a journey. So actually, I joined the company when it was here, and I will see the results. But what I wanted to say is like Stihl is really like a strong ownership, strong culture, strong growth. So really like a strong status quo. But to keep strong, we also need to improve and add additional capabilities in terms of innovation, especially. And if you look at this, let's say, scheme of having different possibilities to innovate internally, but open innovate with universities, with suppliers. You can do M&A and such stuff. We added the corporate venture capital and the corporate venture partnering capabilities, which I want to now talk about a little bit. So everything started 2017 when we had so-called digitalization strategy combined with an investment in the high-tech Gründer Fund. Some of you know that. So that was like accidentally going into that topic, like we need to do something. We need to do something to get more innovation from outside to the core. And that was actually the two-sided spark here, which I guess a lot of companies did, like, okay, what we need to do about digitalization, but how to do it and where to start. And it was quite a good start with the high-tech Gründer Fund, where we get a lot of, let's say, know-how in the early stage phase of our activities. So we started to do that venture capital thing on one side and the venture partner thing on the other side with 2 people, quite a small team. But sooner or later, we started to develop, let's say, a more integrated system. So, and the integrated system is like, on the one side, we have the corporate venture capital, which is investment in funds and in startups, both, let's say, equally, to get a lot of deal flow, a lot of information from outside, from the outside world. And then we push that to our departments. So we push it to marketing, to R&D, for them to be more, let's say, more aware of what is out there. And in doing this push, we recognized you can also do a lot of pull, because they start to ask questions like, okay, I've got this topic here, which I don't know about. Can you help me with that? And for sure, we could help, because we have a lot of knowledge with the databases, with the startups we know from outside. And we're running that with a, let's say, 3 FTE team plus a managing director, Tim, and we have some external advisors which help us very much, and of course students. I love the work of our students. They do a lot in terms of deal flow creating, and yeah, with this setup we can really run quite a number of activities. Yeah, and if you look at our deal flow numbers, we started very small. We did a lot of work in 2019, and then from up there, we started to look more, let's say, on higher qualitative deals. So we get a lot of, let's say, pre-screened deals from our funds, but also from our network. So you see that we are, let's say, don't increase quantity that much, but we look more on quality. And it's also the case that we know quite a lot of stuff in our niche industries already. So not so much startups coming in the forestry sector a lot of times, maybe carbonization startups at the moment. But yeah, this gives us a good overview of what is going on in our ecosystems. We source especially or mainly from Europe. Some from North America. This is shown on the left side of the slide. On the right side, you see it comes from funds that Stihl is invested in. It also comes from conferences, database researches, but we get also 11% from internal sources. So we talk to our colleagues a lot, and they can recommend startups that we may not know already, because they're so deep tech that we didn't screen them from what we can do from our more superficial side. Yeah, as I said, we do fund investment and startup investments, direct investments. So fund investments, we have high-tech Gründer Fund, Visionaries Club, Emerald, and recently Speed Invest. On the right side, you see our direct investments, which are more closely related to things that our customers help to get better, like Dryad, that is doing an ultra early fire detection in the forest, helps us to protect the forest, that the forest still needs our tools. Or like tiny mobile robots on the right, on the down right side, that are doing like line marking on construction sites or on sports fields, which is quite cool and maybe an interesting fit with Stihl in the future. Going to the collaborations, as I said, we're collaborating with all departments at Stihl, but mainly with the R&D department and with marketing sales. A lot of work is also done with strategy, so that helps them a lot to get into the right topics that are really relevant for the next 5 years. Yeah, we are very happy to let's say, have the conversation with them. They help us a lot to look at the right topics. And with the 3-person team, we do about, let's say, 200 to 300 introductions a year. And you can say, okay, it's like 5% projects that come out of it. So that is, let's say, the ratio that we achieve with that. Some examples are shown here, like the innovation push side on the left. We, for instance, made it possible for Stihl to do product subscriptions with a startup and also like short-term rentals. And on the pull side, we did a lot of, let's say, investigation in human voice creation on marketing videos, but also on quality assurance side. So, and what have we learned so far? I just put together 6 learnings to that. So I'm very keen of what we created in doing this pull and push thing. So it's really like an ongoing conversation, very constructive conversation with all the departments. Sometimes gets nasty, but it also gets a lot of, let's say, insights from the company, what the company is capable of, what is not capable of. We challenge them a lot, which is going with the push. But if you go to a, let's say, really deep level of conversation, like really know the problems of your departments, then you also get more and more like the people who pull information out of your venture organization. So that is really a cool thing. On the other side, we think and we are very convinced that this is a very cost-effective way to do it. Very synergetic. You have short-term effects, like that you're building awareness and make it really like short-term noticeable partnerships. You have also long-term outlooks on products that maybe need 3 years or more to go in the market. And but it's still interesting how, let's say, how you create a spillover of your brand or the awareness of your total company to the venture unit. Yeah, this is something we're also very clear that we say this is very effective what you can do with these tools. But for sure, you need to consider the VC environment. Let's say a lot of things that we learned here, but I want to point out especially that it's really hard for management to not to confuse it with M&A activities. So when we start, let's say, especially working with new managers, it's always like, yeah, okay, you get a mandate from me and pick me that, do this. So, and this is, let's say, not the way that we do open innovation, because it's open, it comes from outside, and you need to face the challenges that are from outside and connect them with the inside. So that is, let's say, an interesting point where it's an ongoing thing, not to get the corporate venture confused with M&A. We love to work with our funds. It's very good in terms of getting the knowledge, doing collaborations, and also creating visibility. I guess it's a very helpful thing that the venture funds can be a good part in making the corporate venture unit also look good in terms of being professional, looking at the, let's say, at the procedures, at the processes of the venture funds to also challenge your corporate venture processes in that way. Yeah, and as said, processes, we also think that we have managed to create a quite good setup of the processes. We use Salesforce as a database, tracking all the investment opportunities and collaboration opportunities in there, having, let's say, live data in terms of presenting them to the management. We have our research tools, which a lot of people may know already, and we know the processes. Why is SAP logo here? Because you need to be capable in doing, let's say, real orders and being able to do purchases at the startups. And this is quite a nasty thing in our company sometimes. Yeah, and last but not least, communicate. So we do external communication with our website. We do a lot of LinkedIn. but most of the work is done internally, like with the newsletters, with corporate communication, like the internal websites, but also, let's say, ad hoc information to our stakeholders and inviting people to demo sessions and so on. So it's quite intense what we need to do on that side. Cool. And that's it, actually. Didn't look at the time. Still have some time left. I don't know if there's a Q&A session planned. But yeah, done with the slides. Thanks so much.